Well, US President Joe Biden has spoken with his British Prime Minister Boris Johnson about the situation in Afghanistan, marking his first call with another world leader since the Taliban took control. Now, both leaders will convene a virtual meeting of the group next week to discuss the path forward in Afghanistan. This is the first talks that Joe Biden has had with any leader of another country so far. We have seen Joe Biden come out yesterday and say that he stands by his decision to withdraw British troops despite the rapid worsening of situation that we've seen in Afghanistan. Joe Biden also went on to say that the reason for what we see, the chaos that we see in Afghanistan squarely lies with the Afghan army as well as the government and with the president of Afghanistan fleeing the country. Joe Biden today, of course, has spoken to Boris Johnson, and we are given to understand that world leaders are now looking perhaps at talks on the emerging situation. Now, this comes amidst various nations, including Canada, saying that they are not yet ready to recognize government of the Taliban. It also comes even as there are reports of resistance building within Afghanistan. The vice president of Afghanistan has declared himself the caretaker president and has said that he now leads the country. There are other groupings which essentially in the country are trying to mount a resistance to the Taliban. Crispino is now joining me from the newsroom for more on these telephonic talks that took place between the US President Joe Biden and the British Prime Minister. Crispino, good morning. Give us more details of what you are learning.
Good morning, Nupur. Massive developments taking place in Afghanistan. We're given to understand right now that Joe Biden has held a telephonic conversation with United Kingdom's Prime Minister Boris Johnson. At this point of time, the first call made on the Afghan crisis. And what we're learning right now is that a G7 meeting is scheduled to take place next week. That's what transpired. And both leaders have agreed that they have to work closely in terms of not letting what they built in Afghanistan go away. And we're looking at massive developments right now post-Taliban taking over Afghanistan, the security situation, the evacuation mission of the allied countries of Afghanistan, how they managed to evacuate its citizens, its embassy officials from Afghanistan at this point of time. So a very key call between Biden and Boris Johnson we're looking at right now. And we're waiting to see that if Joe Biden gets support from other allies as well. So G7 meeting will happen next week. All eyes will be on that virtual meeting, which will be convened, and what transpires and the way forward for Afghanistan. As you rightly pointed out, that Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has refused to, in fact, recognize Taliban if they form, a government. So we have to see how other G7 countries too, what steps they will take next week.
All right, Crispino bringing us details of that telephonic conversation that took place between the British Prime Minister and the US President. We will have to wait and watch out for the meeting that is being now convened next week. This is a virtual G7 meeting which will be discussing the Afghan situation.